Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Now I haven't made a video for about a week and I apologise if I haven't. I did not stream Sunday and I only done it for about 20 minutes. I didn't have the determination to finish it. So I just thought delete the scrap it and force myself to go through it. I had a couple of weeks ago on YouTube where I had so many video plans. But yet some of those video plans were terrible and I thought they weren't good enough quality to get out. So I apologise if I haven't uploaded for ages. I also thought that I was uploading too much and as a result the max views were going down. They were just gradually averaging out to get 20 a video, whereas I used to get 40, 50 a video. Anyway, enough of that. Today we're going to be talking about brain damage and boxing and how it can affect and stuff. Now, many American fighters have had it and some British fighters have had it. There's always talk about Dave Allen, whether he's punch drunk or not, and I think he is a little bit. I could definitely tell a different way of speaking. I went back and watched his first IFL interview when he was 4-0 or something compared to now, and it was a bit different, but not too much. To the extent of other fighters you can't tell what he's saying, you really can't. And I've seen a lot of interviews with these boxers who they have to be subtitled by the person who makes them because you can't understand them. And today I'm gonna tell you about it and show you different fighters who has it. So let's get into it. The first person I'm going to talk about in this video is Meldrick Taylor. And Meldrick Taylor was a title holder in the super lightweight division. Back then it was called light welterweight division. In the late 80s and 90s, early 90s. And he's famous, Meldrick Taylor, for seconds from taking Chavez's O. When, you know, if you watch a fight, you know what happens. The first 7-8 rounds he dominates it, but gradually you see the punishment that Chavez is given to him. That's the only fight where I've seen a fighter dominate like 3/4 of a fight and still come out looking worse. Like Chavez's power was big. And he got knocked out in 12th round with 15 seconds left. Obviously you give a 10 count, not 10-second count, can I add? And with 3 seconds left, Richard Steele stopped it. And that's one of the most controversial stoppages in history. But aside from that, we talked about brain damage, and after that fight, he went to the hospital and he did show signs. And he was never the same fighter from that fight. I think that fight was a major cause. And I think he had a few bad knockouts. I mean, knockouts in which there's bad knockouts where you get dropped and you're out of it, but I think with some other knockouts or technical knockouts where you're just on your feet, but you're just taking the shots for the sake of surviving, and the ref has to jump in. Some was bad, and I think the one against Terry Norris was a very good stoppage by Mills Lane, and he went up to 154 to challenge Terry Norris, and Terry Norris I'll talk about later on in the video. But Meldrick Taylor went on to 36 to fight, and he started his career when he was 18, I believe, just after the 84 Olympics. So I'm going to show you a few clips of Meldrick Taylor's decline in his speech, and that will give you the example of how it's called punch drunk syndrome, or CTE. is the medical term. I'm not gonna even try and pronounce it, but I can just show you a few clips of Meldrick Taylor.
I won't want to give away my strategy, my game plan. I would just really look to offset him. I would have to be in 100% condition in order to beat a guy like Chavez. I have the potentials and the skills to beat Chavez with my hand speed and foot speed. And believe me, come March 17th, the strategy I will have to beat Chavez, I will be victorious come March 17th.
Before finally losing in 1994. Meldrick Taylor never truly recovered.
Meldrick Taylor lost everything that night. He didn't just lose a title belt. He was never going to be Meldrick Taylor again.
In the years following the loss to Chavez, Taylor's life and career propelled into a downward spiral, marked by diminished skills inside the ring, financial and legal problems outside of it, and most worrisome, this.
Oh, it's funny not to me because the media wrote bad things about me. When my name said it, I was washed up.
Today, at 36, Taylor continues to fight, despite evidence that he shouldn't.
Everybody in 1992 lost my title, but...
Meldrick is the classic great champion that won't quit. Someone that continued on with his career as best he could, but who shows all the evidence of chronic brain injury.
I'm at the beginning of the prime of my career, and I think I'm going to really excel in this fight. It's going to propel me as the best fighter pound for pound in the world. It's going to make me a superstar.
People say a lot of things about me, about my career. I shouldn't be fighting no more, and it's not true. So I'm here to prove myself that I'm still the same fighter.
As you can see, the photo I just showed you before this clip of me speaking, we see him his different speech, more slurred. You can't tell it. You can't tell what he's saying, really. And I thought I'd just show you, right? So we've seen it before and after in his speech in the HBO documentary. I showed a clip of that. And Meldrick Taylor, in that screenshot I just showed you of this clip on YouTube, that was only 10 years later after he retired, so you see him looking kind of fresh for 36. You know, with the cornrows in his hair. If I was him at 46, looking like a mid-60s guy, late 60s guy. So not only does CTE gives you a speech impairment, it also gives you like an aging factor, I guess. And that's displayed in the next fight that I want to show you.
Tough, big heart.
Shavers is in trouble.
Jerry Quarry gave his heart to boxing, but he also gave his mind.
The winner by a knockout, Jerry Quarry.
This is Jerry Quarry today.
How do you feel these days, Jerry?
I feel I feature myself, but it's a little old, you know.
You feel old?
Yeah, I feel like an old man.
Jerry is only 50 years old. He lives with his brother James.
He loves Coca-Cola.
Because he can't take care of himself anymore.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. The old name is called the punch-drunk fighter.
The medical name for it is dementia pugilistica, and it's the price many young fighters pay for years of doing this.
We could see that Jerry Quarry, not long after his career, you know, and he was 50 years old in that video, and like he said, he felt an old man. Later in that clip that I didn't show you, they said he has a brain of an 80-year-old, and he does look like he's in his 70s. And he ended up dying 2 or 3 years after that clip was made, back in the late 1990s. And it's sad to see, you know, and this video is sad to make, but this is just more of an informational type video and it's to let you know things. And the next fight that we're going to go on to Toney. Now this is slightly different in my opinion. this isn't brought on by. What I mean's a bit different is James Toney was alright for quite a while, you know. He was right 50, 60 fights in. But after his move up to heavyweight, that's where it started to take place. You have blows from 230, 240 pound men at a time. And the thing is with James Toney, because he went from middleweight, super middle, like a brief light heavy, although he couldn't make weight, cruiserweight, where he won the IBF championship, heavyweight, where I believe he won the WBC, but it was stripped because he got tested positive or something. And in his late career, so 2008, when after his career was effectively over, after his brief, like you say, renaissance of a heavyweight when he was a top contender, there's a documentary on ESPN where it talks about his James Toney suffering brain damage. And truly believe that's after going up to heavyweight, and that's why in his later fights he looked so fat, because he lost all his testosterone. He found it virtually impossible to lose weight. Plus, he loved his food. In his early career, that's why he struggled to make super middle against Roy Jones Jr. And yeah, just take a look for yourselves, guys. I mean. And also, as well, when I show you his clip, recently he's come out and challenged Mike Tyson, and you can barely understand him. And you know, I think he's only in his 50s, and he just looks older than he is. You know, it's quite sad. So I'll take a look at his clip and see what you think.
Head trauma is a fact of life in contact sports, such as football and boxing. How does it feel to be hit in the head really hard?
Oh, man. Well, when you first get hit, you see a big black spot, and then the pain hits you. After I get done with the fight, I'm like, damn, do I really want to do this? Is this the career I really want to choose?
For 19 years, boxer James Toney has continued to return to the ring, where he's won 4 world titles from middleweight to heavyweight. But along the way, he also may have suffered an injury that doctors only now are beginning to understand. It involves the impact of head trauma on the pituitary gland, a pea-sized organ that secretes many of the body's most important hormones.
The pituitary gland sits at the base of the skull. It sits directly behind the eyes and right in the midline behind the nose and the nasal cavity.
UCLA neurosurgeon Dan Kelly is one of the leading researchers in the emerging area of pituitary injuries.
So when someone has a head injury, the brain, we know, moves around within the skull, and there can be stretching of the pituitary stalk, or there can be direct damage to the pituitary gland.
Damage to that so-called master gland can lead to deficiencies in critical hormones that affect everyday energy levels and such processes as the healing of muscles and bones.
Which hormones are you low in, and how low are you?
They said my testosterone level's real low, like damn near non-existent.
Now that's a strange thing to hear from a boxer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're in the testosterone sport.
Yeah, but see, I was shocked when Dr. Gordon told me. I'm like, oh my God.
Coming at you. I've been hearing so much stuff about the exhibition fight between Mike, me, and Evander. If they want to do it, I have a problem with it. Everybody knows my number. 1-800 lights out. Give me a call. If you want to do it, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. Lights out, baby.
So as James Toney, now we see even a big difference from the James Toney that I didn't show you before and after, but the difference is noticeable from a documentary I showed you in 2007, I believe, to now when he's calling out Tyson. You can see the difference from there, you know. You can kind of know what you were saying in ESPN, but now you can understand it, but you can hear the noise trying to force out the speech, you know. Now the next one, I believe, is one of the saddest ones, probably because I find the documentary quite sad, is Terry Norris. Terry Norris, probably one of the greatest light middleweight, super welterweight champions ever. And throughout his career, you could say his heart overruled his head, and sometimes he'd love to trade and think he could walk through punches. There's a great documentary I watched last night before recording of this video about an hour and 40 long. No, it's not a documentary you see on TV. Someone made it for YouTube purposes, and you can see him in his career and that. And a common theme in that was his heart overruled his head. He could box if he wanted and move around for 12 rounds like he did to Simon Brown in a rematch. Or he could go for, think he could walk for punches, and particularly for Julian Jackson knocking. We all know as boxing fans, Julian Jackson's probably one of the hardest hitting middleweights ever. He believed he could walk for punches, and he loved a scrap, which helped to his downfall, but also helped to his downfall that he used to spar 12 rounds every other day before a fight. And this is where I'm going to briefly talk about sparring. And he had nearly had 300 amateur fights. I believe he was 291 or 4 in amateurs. And on a career perspective, he had 4 or 5 losses. I shouldn't have been. He had about 3 disqualification losses, which is his fault, but you know, I see disqualification as BS. You know. But it is, whereas he had 3 or 4 losses I shouldn't have been. But he is still regarded as one of the best, super welter light middle champs. And see if he's
hit terrible Terry Norris hard. All that punching and pounding, all those blows to the head. His speech went first. The brain damage, which has affected his day-to-day mobility, took many more years to detect. Life for the champ forever changed.
We do couples yoga and the sauna and steam rooms. So he does all the work. But in the beginning, he was just kind of, he was going downhill.
But the sport that put him in this position is the same one helping him out of it. In the garage of their Los Angeles home, Terry and Tanya offer world champion cardio boxing classes from dawn to dusk.
Yeah, it takes the place of boxing. When I'm in there seeing people really trying to box and really trying to, it makes me happy.
When I got here, I was looking on the walls at his pictures. I was like, oh, wait a minute, he's the real deal here. Just amazing, and it just makes me feel good to know that I'm doing something that makes him feel good, you know, and being able to have a second life at boxing for him.
I felt like it brought the world champion in him back.
The proceeds help support Norris's foundation.
It's called The Final Fight.
The Norrises use it as a platform to educate other fighters and their families while pushing for mandatory health insurance and more frequent brain scans for fighters.
They don't have anyone looking out for them, and I just feel like with a sport where a blow is equivalent to an 80-pound mallet, you have to watch over it.
So I see some of the best fighters in the world can barely walk, stumbling around. It's sad.
Looking back now, was it worth it?
I wouldn't say it was. I put my family on the map. I made my dad happy. He passed away now. We were like best friends. I made my dad happy. You know, he had 2 sons. Both his sons became world champions. So that's why I made him happy. I truly believe he's the reason why I won the world title championship 4 times.
He's in danger of going down. Let's see if Norris...
He's the reason why I'm a Hall of Famer. He's the reason why, I'm history. He's the reason.
Do you know what? That video actually hits hard, and it's sad, and I'll talk about all the side effects to outro of this video, but there's one more I want to show you, and this is the most famous case of punch drunk, or even punch drunk's an understatement for what happened to him. But Muhammad Ali, we all know what happened to Muhammad Ali. You know, Muhammad Ali was a great fighter in the 60s. Evasive, slipping punches, you know, fast. But when he came back after the 70s, I could tell you about the story, but this is a video for brain damage, and I don't want to get sidetracked. Basically, when he came back after his 3-year off in boxing, the speed was a bit gone. He relied on his toughness, and he was famous for doing a rope-a-dope, and you can see the fights with Larry Holmes, Leon Spinks. Like, Leon Spinks was a 7-fight novice, and he beat Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali avenged in a rematch, but we see how slow he was. And it's one of the saddest cases. Now, I'm not going to show you any clips of Muhammad Ali because they're most likely going to get copyrighted. They knew of it like a couple of years ago. But we all know he had Parkinson's, and to see him, I saw a clip of him months before he died, and he was wasting away, you know. Jeez, he must have been like 10, 11 stone. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, he was just all scrawny, sitting down, skinny, bone to bone. It's horrible. But yeah, we saw fights like Terry Norris in this video, Meldrick Taylor, Toney, Jerry Quarry. Those are some of the few. And I could include Jerry McClellan, but that's more serious. You could say it's less worse than Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was less worse than him, sorry. Being brain damaged, I mean definitely. At least Muhammad Ali could see and hear people, you know. So Jerry McClellan, I'll give a brief history on that. The famous fight with Nigel Benn in 95. Everyone thought that Nigel was going to get wiped out in a couple of rounds. Some even saying the first. And he managed to grind it out and make it into a war, and he got dropped twice. But in the 8th, 9th round, you can see the gum shield coming out of his mouth. His eyes blinking rapidly. And that's when you know there's pressure on the brain. He should have been pulled out, really, on hindsight, but nobody knew what it was, and he's forever brain damaged and incapacitated. Now, and also, before I make the outro, Patrick Day, we can't forget about Patrick Day and Maxime I can't even say his name, Deshayev or something. I can't say it. Both fighters both died in 2019, and on hindsight, I think they both may have had concussions on before the fight, because it's very rare you die instant. What I'm trying to say is, I agree with Hartman when he made his video, and they probably had concussions before they fought. And we know Anthony Joshua had a concussion, and the repeated concussions can have the effect, you know. Even Anthony Joshua getting concussion, you know, even the most famous fighters. And I didn't get my point across, but with Terry Norris, he sparred 12 rounds every other day before his fight, and Bam was thousands of rounds throughout his career, and so that had its impact. Now, they've taken I'm going to talk a bit of the end of the video now, but we're taking head guards out of the amateur game, and apparently there's 40% less concussions with it, and I could probably agree. I think when you have a head guard on, you think nothing can knock you out, and you just walk through like you've seen me taking Shorty and Spence to the landmine. But when you don't have head guards on, well, I've spotted head guards and I'm like, shit, I can't get whacked the way I was. And I've even been cut beer. And you're much more defensively oriented, hands up, slipping punches. You go I rely on slipping loads. Hands up, you know, and stuff. And that's me, that's no point in this video. I think amateur boxers, they start at 6-7 years old. Maybe they could increase the age of when you start. I mean, I might be a bit negative, but you could do that. But on the other side, boxing saves more lives than kills lives, you know. There's a lot of depressed people, there's a lot of people on the streets, there's a lot of people, drugs, crime before boxing. We know Mike Tyson was getting arrested loads as when he was a young person. So it saves more lives than kills lives, you know, and as a positive. But on the outro of this video, I'm gonna tell you, you know, side effects to this. The side effects are depression, suicide, emotional instability. So that means you can be emotional instability. It's kind of like bipolar, but not. And you could be crazy one minute. And I watched a mini documentary on American footballer who's got CTE as well. So it is an important thing, and I just wanted to raise awareness, as sometimes I think it's not looked on enough. I think a British board do brain scans once a year, and I think it could be twice a year. Or every fight. I mean, the medical cost would be high, but surely some promoters would fork that out. But anyway, this is going to be the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, it's a sad video to enjoy, but what I'm saying is, I hope you've been informed of brain injuries in sports and CTE and severe damages. And I don't know if any professionals watch this. If they do come across this in the future, just remember that people like Meldrick Taylor, Norris arguably, Muhammad Ali, James Toney, there's all one thing in common with these fighters, is they all stayed in the sport just a couple of fights too long. So if you're watching this and you're professional, probably not, but you know, just make sure you don't stay in the sport too long and you don't get tempted to come back. I'm not a fan of comebacks. But anyway, it's the end of the video. I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you for watching. Take care. Keep safe in coronavirus these times. And yeah, peace.